Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that is literally changing the DNA of how we do business. We're talking about a massive evolution in how companies communicate, show off their products, and ultimately close deals. For decades, sharing information was basically a one-way street, right? But AI is completely tearing down those walls. We're moving from static, boring broadcasts to hyper-personalized, highly dynamic conversations.
So I want you to imagine something for a second. What happens when your product presentation can actually talk back? Seriously, picture a world where your software demo doesn't just play some pre-recorded video, but actively adapts in real time to the exact person watching it. It answers their unique questions, and oh yeah, it does the whole thing flawlessly in 50 different languages. Sounds totally like science fiction, right? Well, as we're going to see, this is the reality of modern business communication.
Section 1. The end of static content, moving beyond videos.
Okay, let's dive into this. To really understand where we're headed, we gotta look at what we're leaving behind. We've all felt the pain of the old way, right? You record a demo, spend hours in tedious manual editing, and somehow still end up with a generic pitch that doesn't perfectly fit anyone. And don't even get me started on the absolute nightmare of trying to translate that content for a global audience. Think about the normal screen recorders we've been using, like OBS Studio or Loom. Sure, they're reliable, but they are entirely manual. What you record is exactly what the user sees. If your software gets a tiny update, boom, you have to throw the whole video away and start from scratch. Now compare that to modern AI screen recorders. Tools like TruePair AI are totally changing the game. They actually add a layer of active intelligence right into the recording process. So instead of wasting hours in post-production, trimming out those awkward silences and staring at a timeline until your eyes literally blur, the AI just handles it. It automatically pinpoints the key parts of your recording and highlights them. It auto-generates incredibly accurate captions, and it even cleans up your audio by removing background noise. But honestly, the absolute best part is how fast you can iterate. If just one single feature in your app changes, you can update just that specific segment. No more re-recording the entire video. It saves a massive amount of time and gives you a way more polished result.
Section 2, Interactive Demos, the next revolution.
But here's the thing. Just having a cleaner, faster video, that's not enough anymore. We're moving away from a passive viewing experience to an active, hands-on journey where your prospect is actually in the driver's seat. And this brilliantly illustrates why that matters. Salesify found that when companies move to these hands-on AI-integrated sales demos, they are seeing a 50% increase in lead conversion rates. 50%! That is a massive, tangible impact on the bottom line. When you stop just talking at your prospects and start letting them interact with your product, engagement absolutely skyrockets. And more importantly, that engagement turns into actual revenue. So what exactly makes these interactive demos so incredibly powerful? Well, platforms like Arcade and Demo Desk are using AI to do some serious heavy lifting. First off, the AI can actually write the copy for each step of your interactive tour, keeping everything punchy and impactful. They even provide professional synthetic voiceovers, which means you don't need to rent out a fancy recording studio to sound great. But the crucial piece? Deep behavior analysis. The AI analyzes exactly where your viewers are dropping off or losing interest. This lets you constantly tweak, refine, and perfect your presentation. If you want to see what this looks like in the real world, just look at Nud Security. They decided to swap out the static images on their website and in their emails for interactive AI-enhanced demos using Arcade. The result? A 5 times increase in the likelihood of a prospect taking a trial. A 5x multiplier, just from letting people virtually touch the product. That right there is the pure power of interactive guidance.
Section 3, AI Sales Agents, Dynamic Agentic Demos.
Believe it or not, an interactive click-through demo is already just a stepping stone. We're escalating straight to the bleeding edge of the industry now. Welcome to the era of the AI sales agent. This is where your presentation stops being a preset track and becomes a living, breathing conversation. Let's make sure we clearly define this new concept, leaning on a great framework developed by Kurumi. An agentic demo is an AI that acts as a real-time sales agent. It interacts with the user, understands their intent, and dynamically adapts the software demo right there on the fly. It is not a fixed path. The AI can answer specific questions, guide the prospect based on what they actually care about, and explain features that match their technical knowledge level. It is literally simulating a live, human-led product demonstration.
So, the crucial point is how this evolution maps out.
Traditional demos, they're a fixed video path, totally passive and identical for every single person watching. Then you have interactive demos, which give the user some control, but they're still trapped in a pre-written closed loop. Agentic demos, however, are dynamic and real-time. The AI is listening, it's thinking, and it's generating a completely unique path for every single user based on a live conversation. This is just a massive leap forward.
Let's actually walk through how a platform like Kurumi launches one of these agentic demos. It breaks down into 4 distinct steps. Step 1 is product mapping, where the AI agent essentially learns your software interface and all its workflows. Step 2 is CTA integration, basically dropping a simple button onto your site. Step 3 is starting the demo. The prospect clicks that button, and a virtual video call kicks off where they can just speak naturally to the AI. And finally, step 4 is data collection, where the AI gathers insights on the prospect's needs in real time. Salesforce is a prime example here. They use this exact process to run their demos 24/7. They totally eliminated wait times for prospects and massively scaled their demo capacity, all without having to hire a single new sales rep.
Section 4. The language barrier, global communication.
Now, having a dynamic AI agent is incredible, but business today operates globally. And that brings us to the next massive friction point AI is solving for us. How on earth do we take these highly dynamic, intelligent experiences and translate them for a global audience without totally tanking our time to market? Let's move to and see how this builds over time. Back in the 2000s, we had early machine translation. It was basic, it was clunky, and it almost always missed the context. In 2015, we got a big leap with neural networks, which really improved the quality. But today we're working with large language models that actually understand cultural nuance. They know industry-specific terminology, and they operate in real time. We have completely moved from translation being this slow, post-production afterthought to a live, integrated layer of global communication. The capabilities we have today are honestly mind-blowing. We're talking about real-time multimodal translation. You know those old days of out-of-sync translations that felt like bad dubbing in a 70s martial arts movie? Yeah, we are way past that. Tools like Meta's Seamless M4T can translate speech to text, and text to text, all within a single system. And platforms like Freeze Studio, they let you take a recorded product demo, automatically transcribe it, subtitle it, and instantly dub it into over 20 languages. Just imagine being able to hand your regional sales teams perfectly localized content that's ready to share the very next day. And again, let's look at the actual business impact here. Phrase worked with a global fashion house that deployed this AI-powered translation. The result was a 55% reduction in translation post-editing. They hit 100% match quality for short sentences and rolled the entire system out in less than 2 weeks. That is a massive savings in time, budget, and resources. It allows a brand to truly operate globally from day one.
Section 5. Human in the loop. Empowering experts. I know exactly what some of you might be thinking right now. If AI is writing our copy, giving our demos, and translating our videos, what happens to us? Are human experts becoming obsolete? Well, the reality is that this technology isn't a replacement at all. It's the ultimate empowerment tool. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is Phrase's philosophy on localization. AI handles the scale and speed, while human experts ensure accuracy, cultural resonance, and brand consistency. Look, AI isn't perfect. It can definitely miss subtle cultural nuances or specific brand voices. The highest performing teams out there are using AI for the heavy lifting, the scale and the speed, and then bringing in human experts as editors to perfect that final product. Ultimately, it all comes down to this one core principle. AI scales the outreach, but humans build the relationships. By automating all that tedious, repetitive stuff, the manual video editing, the basic product tours, the rough translations, we're actually freeing up our human talent. Your sales reps can spend their time actually negotiating and closing deals instead of running through generic click-throughs. Your translators get to focus on high-value, deeply nuanced messaging instead of translating basic interface buttons. And that brings us to our final thought for today's explainer. The tools to speak to every customer anywhere at any time in their native language with a totally personalized experience, they already exist. They're here, today. So the big question you have to ask yourself and your team is this: is your business still stuck speaking in static? Take a hard look at your workflows because this evolution is happening right now. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this fascinating shift in business communication. Keep learning, keep evolving, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.